The president travels to Mexico today for his first Mexico summit with newly elected President Enrique Peña Nieto. Since he took office on December 1st, Peña Nieto has tried to position himself as a game changer, especially when it comes to cross-border security. He quickly moved to end some of the information sharing between U.S. and Mexican law enforcement, which has caused concern here in the U.S. Also on deck for discussion is the future of U.S.-Mexican trade. And the question many Mexicans have for President Peña Nieto over the past few months is the same Americans have had for President Obama. Where are the jobs?
I think we got to cut through this hype. I mean, the Time magazine report was really just over the top. Bill Richardson wrote the profile of Peña Nieto and said that Peña Nieto was supposedly had the charisma of Ronald Reagan, the political skills of Bill Clinton, and the intelligence of Barack Obama. I would not compare him on any of those fronts. Peña Nieto has been a weak personality from the very beginning during the campaign itself. He has been trying to make efforts to bring together the political parties under this Pact for Mexico, but that's starting to unravel because the Pact for Mexico, it turns out, is only between the same old politicians. They are not involving civil society or social movements or NGOs. And so this is all starting to come apart. We have massive teachers' movements in Guerrero, student movements in Mexico City, other diverse movements, including even the self-defense forces in Guerrero. Oaxaca also has a student mobilization, Michoacan as well. And the big question on everybody's mind today is whether the PRI, which is the old guard authoritarian party, which is Peña Nieto's party, is going to respond to these mobilizations through repression by cracking down violently, or whether they're going to change tack and actually try to open up and listen to civil society. And this is something that should be on the minds of all of us, because what happens in Mexico in terms of development, inclusive development, makes a big difference in terms of peace, security, and development in North America.
Here in the U.S., we have President Obama and the Gang of Eight pushing for comprehensive immigration reform. How much do you think what happens at this summit impacts the president's ability to come home and sell that to the American people?
Well, immigration reform is interesting. We'll have to see what happens in the United States. That's going to depend a lot on Congress. What I can say is that so far, Obama has been no friend to Mexico or to Mexicans in the United States. The deportation rate has been higher than almost any other president in history, higher than Bush himself. Most recent calculations I've seen are 1.6 million during Obama's first 4 years. He has been very supportive of the violent drug war in Mexico, which has led to 60, 70, 80,000 deaths over the last few years. This has been a big disappointment for Latinos in general, and particularly for Mexicans on both sides of the border. So I really hope that Obama himself also changes tack and really gets out there and defends the immigrants and defends Mexicans in particular, because I keep on hearing him talking about, this quid pro quo, exchanging, increased border security, or even asking the Mexicans to defend their side of the border in exchange for the favor, in quotes, of giving, citizenship to Mexican United States. This should not be the approach the President of the United States should be taking. The President of the United States should realize that he is there where he is today because of the Latino vote, especially because of the Mexican vote, and he owes the Mexicans and the Latinos this path towards citizenship.